What are RMDs and why do they exist? Well, let's start with some basics. What exactly is a required minimum distribution? An RMD is a mandatory withdrawal from your tax-deferred retirement accounts once you reach a certain age. The IRS requires it. There's no way around it. That's why it's called a required distribution. And why do they exist? Well, think about it this way. When you contributed to your traditional IRA or your 401k, you got a tax deduction. That money grew tax deferred for decades. The government gives you a massive tax break up front, but they haven't forgotten about you. At some point, they want their cut. They want their taxes. RMDs are how they collect. The IRS basically says, we've been patient. We let your money grow tax deferred for 30, 40, maybe 50 years. Now it's time to pay up. So which accounts require RMDs? Well, here's a list. Traditional IRAs, SEP IRAs, which are simplified employee pension plans. I have one of those. Simple IRAs, 401ks, 403bs, 457 plans. Pretty much any employer-sponsored retirement plan. And which accounts do not require RMDs? This is important. Roth IRAs, there are no RMDs while you're alive. Roth 401ks and Roth 403bs. As of 2024, they no longer require minimum distributions. This is one of the biggest reasons Roth conversions can be so powerful and are so popular. We covered this in detail in our Roth conversion masterclass last week. You can find that video on my YouTube channel. So what age do RMDs start? You must start taking RMDs at age 73. Now, this has changed recently, so pay attention. If you turned 72 before January 1st of 2023, you should already be taking RMDs. If you turn 72 in 2023 or later, you start taking RMDs at age 73. Starting in 2033, for the youngsters out there, the RMD age increases to age 75. I know the rules keep changing. Welcome to Congress, helping us plan for retirement. But for now, remember, age 73 is when most people start taking RMDs. So here are some critical timing rules. So you know what RMDs are and when they start. Now let's talk about the timing rules, because this is where people can get tripped up. Your first RMD, the April 1st exception. For your very first RMD, you have two options. Take it by December 31st of the year you turn age 73, or you can delay it until April 1st of the year following the year you turn 73. Sounds pretty nice, right? You get a few extra months of tax deferral and a few extra months of not paying a tax. But here's the trap. If you delay your first RMD until April of the following year, you now have to take two annual RMDs in 1 year. Let me give you an example. You turned 73 in June of 2025, this past June. You decide to wait to take your first RMD until April 1st of next year. The deadline. Great. No distribution and no tax this year. But next year, you have to take two RMDs, your 2025 RMD and your 2026 RMD by December 31st of 2026. That's two RMDs in 1 calendar year. So, why does that matter? Well, two RMDs in 1 year means higher taxable income. You might jump into a higher tax bracket. You could trigger Medicare IRMA rules, which we talked about several times over the past few weeks, which means higher Medicare premiums. More of your Social Security becomes taxable. This is why in most cases I recommend people take their first RMD in the year they turn 73. Don't delay it. That could push you up into a higher tax bracket.